day to everybody. Today we are going to talk about the corporate manager. As we have seen that if a bank wants to be successful, if a bank wants to be supporting the small and medium-sized enterprises, they need sooner or later to establish a unit, a lending unit dedicated to SMEs. And in most of cases, these units are headed by a corporate manager. And now we are going to see what the corporate manager profile should be. And it is her working methods. Working methods of corporate manager, part 1. We are going to see which are the targets of the corporate manager, which are the sub-targets, what is the concurrence of the corporate manager he has to face, the targets of a small entrepreneur, some questions and answers on questions and answers made to entrepreneurs, which are the banking factors that affect the world of the small entrepreneur, which are the targets of and for the bank, the corporate manager, the manager assets, and we will verify concurrence portfolio manager relation with small entrepreneurs. The targets of the corporate managers. First, he has to identify which are the leverage he has in order to achieve the targets. Which are the targets in order to increase the profitability of his portfolio, for improving the professional assets of his own. Now the sub-targets. You should know how to evaluate events and phenomena relevant to the manager. To know how to give an orderly sequence to thought and action. This is very important. The corporate manager should make a program for his own action, and they should be in order to achieve results. You should know how to self-diagnose rigorously and precisely areas of professionalism, investment, and how to identify action for personal improvement. You know, the activity of the corporate manager is a long-lasting improvement. He has to ameliorate the situation versus the entrepreneur, but he has to improve himself or herself as personal improvement. Now a few words on the concurrence, what the concurrence is. There are 3 actors are coming into the play: the bank, the client, and the manager. Well, the bank is the employer, the one that has established the small and medium-sized lending unit. The manager, as we saw, is the one who runs the lending unit. The client is at the center. It is the beneficial entity of all the activity. Now, a few words on the target of a small entrepreneur. Which are the target for him? As an entrepreneur, he wants to make companies' life easier. This is very easy to be understood. For the entrepreneur, the best thing to get from a bank through the corporate manager is to have a more easy life for his own company. He wants to get support on current necessity. Which are the current necessity? At the very beginning is to get financial support from the bank, and further on to get dedicated services. Make the most of the company's liquidity. This is a desire for any entrepreneur to have a very liquid company which is profitable and does not need much financial support from banks or other entities. Arrange resources for investments. This is another important issue for any entrepreneurs. He has to be sure that whenever they are needed, he has the capability to have enough resources for the investments which are needed within the company, buying machinery, hiring new people. We have not to forget that any entrepreneur is also a private individual. So the corporate relationship manager has two different tasks: to think to the entrepreneur as the leader of the company, but as well as a private individual. And as a private individual, the entrepreneur is looking for convenience and simplification. Financing purchase plans, and is looking for making most of one's own savings. These are basically any private individual requirements, especially if he wants to get from the corporate manager advice on where he has to put his own savings. As is not a secret, entrepreneurs are starting up companies for making money, and when they do get this money, they want to get advice how to manage their private individual money. Another important issue is restore eventual falls in revenue. What does happen from time to time is known that not all companies are very successful, especially at the beginning. So the entrepreneur, as a private individual, is paying a lot of attention on his personal revenues. So the corporate manager should really help him or her also in restoring any possible falls in the revenues. Now, a few questions and answers between the corporate relation manager and a possible entrepreneur. And now we are going to reply to some typical questions which are made between entrepreneurs and the corporate relation manager. So, first question is very simple. What does make company life easier? And the reply of the corporate relationship manager is the offer of the basic services which are put available by the bank, which are of basically receipts and payment management, money transfer, domiciliation, telematic services. You know, in a very advanced banking industry, the telematic services are very common and very practical for entrepreneurs, which they do not have time for leaving their enterprise and calling to the bank. So if they can achieve telematic services is a very important thing. The result is that services are efficient, they are speed, low cost, and reliable. This is important as this is basically what the entrepreneur is looking for. He is looking for a bank that is efficient, which is fast, and does not cost really too much. Then the second question is, how can we support current necessity? The areas we are talking are the so-called short-term financing, and the services which the product manager is offering are basically credit lines, cash and credit advances, national and international, as well as factoring. I don't know if you are familiar with these products, but credit lines is what a bank normally provides to any enterprise. Credit lines are available for paying taxes, buying machinery, and also buying the raw materials which are necessary to the company. Factoring is a particular product where you discount receivables from other entities. The third question from the entrepreneur to the corporate relationship manager is how can I arrange resources for investment? The areas we are talking about is medium to long-term financing, and the products and the services which are rendered normally are specially subsidized loan leasing, and the result are basically the economic advantage. I want to talk about special subsidized loan leasing. This is one of the kind of financing where from time to time soft loan and grants provided by international entities are coming in the picture. When an entrepreneur is investing in the company, by meaning buying machinery, it's much more convenient to have medium-term financing utilized than a short-term financing. And in many cases, local banks are not in a position to raise medium-term financing, so they utilize funds which are provided by a supranational organization like the World Bank, UNIDO, IFC, EBRD, and other entities. The fourth question is from the entrepreneur, how can I make my companies most liquid? The areas we are talking about are product and services for corporate, and the services we can offer as a corporate relationship manager are shares, bonds, and funds. The leverage we are utilizing in this case are flexibility, advice, and expertise. This is a very peculiar area which belongs mostly to large and big corporations more than small and medium-sized enterprises. But just for knowing is the capacity of the corporate relation manager to advise the ownership of the company about issuing bonds, raising funds from the public, or to go and getting listed by placing company shares on the market. Banking factors that affect the world of the small entrepreneur. The service leverage banking factors that affect the world of the small entrepreneurs are basically speed of decision and operational efficacy. As I was said before, the entrepreneur is not very much interested only to the price. Price is coming at the second level. It is much more interested in having an interlocutor meaning the corporate relationship manager, which is speed in taking decision and is very efficient from the operational side. The entrepreneur is looking for completeness, timeless in information. I mean, information for the entrepreneur are very, very important. He wants to have them in full. He wants to get a full picture with regard to product, service, and relationship. And the information should get to him immediately. This is a great value for the entrepreneur in the relationship that he is conducting with his interlocutor with the bank. Another important factor is the consistency with this entrepreneurship and planning skill. I mean, the corporate relation manager is a sort of partner with the entrepreneur. So he has to be consistent, and he should help the entrepreneur in making planning, and therefore he should have also a planning skill for being the partner of the entrepreneur. Now, a few words with regard to the targets of the bank. The main target for the bank in his relationship with the small and medium-sized enterprise is to improve productivity and profitability. We have not to forget the banks have to protect the shareholders' interest, and therefore they have to be profitable and productive. They have also to improve credit quality and risk control. I mean, the credit quality is one of the main issues for any management of any bank. And they want to give loans only to those which have the best opportunities of paying back these loans. That is really meaning to have a deep capacity of monitoring the risk and keeping the risk under control. Last but not least, the banks have to keep improving their image and being competitive on the market. These are the three major areas of improvement for any bank. The bank's image is very important, as the bank is raising money from the public, mostly based on the reputation he has on the territory where he works on. So the bank's image, the bank's reputation, the reputation of the bank's manager is very important. They should be also quite competitive, meaning that services and price they are offering should be competitive among the banks which are operating on the territory, but not only among those which are present. And they do this by means of supply of global services in order to be competitive on the market and to become the reference supplier. This is an important issue, as once a bank is becoming a global supply of service to any enterprise, it gets very much more competitive, and the entrepreneur is stopping to go around searching services from other banks. The relationship becomes very much tied up, and the situation that has been created is the one that was the target, to become partners. How the bank support these targets? Allocation of portfolios. Allocation of portfolio means that the customer basis is segmented, and a proper corporate relationship manager is allocated to different kind of segment of customers. That is important as somebody that is taking care of small and medium-sized enterprises should not be given too many companies in his own portfolio. Normally, the adequate number of relationships should not exceed 50 enterprises. Otherwise, there is not time enough for following deeply the relationship. Homogeneous working styles. This is another important issue. You know, in each branch, the corporate manager should operate in a similar way. It is no longer the time of a good branch manager, meaning the one where I can get better treatment. A bank should be in a position to offer the same kind of treatment, the same kind of conditions to all homogeneous kind of customers. Adopting a working style, method and techniques. This is another important issue. If a bank wants to be successful in getting these targets, they have to introduce methodology. And the methodology is to have training the managers, the corporate managers, and passing to them techniques. Therefore investing in know-how, competences, technology, range of proposal. These are important issues as a corporate relationship manager cannot be created, let's say, out of the blue. He has to be well trained, and he has to be in possession of knowing how some professional competences, but he should be also seconded and supported by bank technology. And also the range of proposal that he can offer and make to entrepreneurs should be big enough to attract these customers. Now we are going to see a little bit in deep what is the profile of a corporate manager, what are the skills of these professional manager. First of all, the mission, to contribute to the achievement of the branch targets. You know, it is an important part of the branch activity to take care of corporate customers. And in some cases, in some branches, they do represent 85% of the customer bases. The mission is to guarantee the achievement of economic and quality targets related to the one's own portfolio on the basis of given commercial policies and planned initiatives. This is meaning that the corporate relationship manager is not playing alone. He is working with methodology and is contributing to the achievement of the general bank targets. His own personal target, to develop the business of one's own portfolio, offering products, services, and implementing planned commercial action for existing and potential clients. Here, I want to underline that the job of the corporate relationship manager is not just to take care of existing client, but also to find ways and manner to bring new clients, new customers for the bank. And this thanks to his own reputation of being capable to manage his own portfolio and offering the product and the services of the bank. Another target is to ensure a high quality level in the services and in the relations offered to the client in terms of professional competence and availability. The corporate relationship manager has to have good professional competence, but especially it should result very available towards the customer. We saw before that what the customer is looking for are information, timeless information, support, consultancies. So it is a professional manager, the one that is capable to result totally available with regard to the customer. To ensure a correct allocation of credit, this is another important issue. The corporate relationship manager will be successful as long as it is capable to cope with the financial needs of its portfolio of customers. So it should be really in a position to allocate the credit when it's needed. But also to guarantee the control of risk with regard to the assigned clients. We saw before that the bank has to monitor and to control the risk that is undertaking. So one of the targets of the corporate relationship manager is to be always aware of what is going on inside his customer portfolio. And to start development actions towards new clients. I said already this before, one of the targets of the corporate relationship manager is to use his own capability, his own reputation towards the existing customer in order to achieve new customer for the bank. Which are the manager assets? Basically, are two main assets: knowledge capital, that's the capacity of offering solution to the customers, and the language capital to obtain credentials. The credentials are basically the reputation that the manager has towards his own customer basis. And I think that it is the most important one, as if you do not have personal credential, meaning that the customer does not trust you enough, most probably is not going to call you for requesting solution to the problem that it may be facing. The knowledge capital of the corporate manager. The knowledge capital of the corporate manager is basically founded on four aspects. The products, meaning the destination, the induced benefit, technical characteristic, and contents and procedures. The client, meaning the knowledge of the worth, his size, and his interest. The external environment, meaning social and economic background, market and competitors, law and rules. The internal environment, distribution model, new products, commercial initiatives. These four are the assets of the corporate relationship manager. And what is important, and I want to underline, is his own capacity of knowing external environment. External environment is very important, as is giving him the possibility of being effective towards the customer basis, as long as he knows the economic background of the entrepreneur, the economic background of the territory, and he knows the market, and especially the competitors. Competitors not only of his own bank, but the competitors of his customer portfolio. I want to spend also a few words on products. What is important, in my opinion, is basically which are the benefits of suggesting certain kind of products and which are the technical characteristics of the product. Sometimes the customers is interested in understanding better which are the technical characteristics of the products which are offered to him by the corporate relationship manager. And all these four, they cannot be developed by the corporate relationship manager alone. The corporate relationship managers should be part of the team, a team which has a strong, recognized team leader, and this team should be highly reputed within the management of the bank. And only by these factors, the corporate relationship manager could grow professionally and be ensured that the investment that is making in getting trained, meaning getting the technical characteristic of products, knowing the economic background of markets and customers, is an investment on which he has compensation on doing. Thank you.